Washington State University. Go Cougs!
So now we're going to talk about Python, and then we're going to do some Python work the rest of the day, or rest of the hour. In order to run Python, you've got to have that program that I was talking about that can convert Python code into zeros and ones, essentially, into something that your computer can understand. So you can run Python in the browser. So that would just be like opening up Chrome or Internet Explorer, Safari, whatever you use, and writing some Python code in the browser. And then the server that you're connected to over that website will execute your Python code because it has the Python interpreter, the Python program installed. So that's one way to do it. We're not going to do it that way today because I want to try to give you as much of a real Python experience as possible. Most people download Python and install it onto their machine, like your laptops that are sitting in front of you. So it sounds like most of you guys did install Python with the link Rayanne sent out, which I greatly appreciate because that'll save us a lot of time. There's two different types of Python distributions you can download on your machine. One person, what was your name again? Samantha. So you downloaded the vanilla Python from python.org. It's a lighter version of Python. It doesn't come with a bunch of libraries. And that will get Python running, no problem. But if you want to do data science or scientific computing, typically you'll download a distribution, which is like the Anaconda one I sent you. It's much larger. You probably needed to take up a little bit of space on your hard drive to install it. But then you have all of these data science libraries right there ready for you to use. OK, so we're going to open up Anaconda Navigator, which most of you guys I saw already have open, which is awesome. This is kind of like the dashboard for all of the programs that come with Anaconda. If you're on a Windows machine, you can just hit your Windows key and then type Anaconda in your search. Or if you're on a Mac, just hit Command Space for Searchlight and then type Anaconda Navigator. While this is getting up and running, on this side, while this is getting up and running, there are two main ways to run Python, and I listed those under running Python. So the first one is interactive Python, which we'll do first. This is good for something I call EDA, exploratory data analysis. You can also go to the Wikipedia page for EDA and learn more about it. It's mostly for exploring data or trying something new or learning something new. So we'll do that first, and then we'll go into scripting Python, which is kind of the standard way to write more large-scale Python programs. OK. Do I need to pause? Does anyone need more time to get Navigator up and running? OK. Holler at me if you need more time. So the first thing we're going to do is launch Qt console. That's this one that says IPY, short for Interactive Python, IPython. So go ahead and just hit launch here. And this is going to bring up something called the command line. So we have, I think, 2 people on Windows machines. OK, so those of you on Windows machines, this is called a command prompt. And this is very reminiscent of the MS-DOS days. Believe it or not, there used to not be a graphical user interface with this nice desktop where you could double click on icons and things. And this was the way you would interact with your operating system. You would type commands, and you'd execute them, and you would get text results back. Thankfully, that was before your time. It's before my time, too. But this was the way you used to interact with your operating system. So on Windows, it's called command prompt. Those of you running, I think, anyone running Linux in here? OK. So those of you running Macs, it's called a terminal. And if you ever want to open a terminal to your Mac, you can just go to Searchlight and type terminal. Or if you're on Windows, hit your command key and type CMD for command prompt. OK, so this is our interactive Python console. This is even cooler than a normal console or command line because it's got Python. So the typical first program you write in any language is what, Jason? Hello world. It's just a really simple program, and all it does is say hello world. Some of you are nodding like, yeah. I remember back in AP, right, computer science in high school in Java, right? Hello world? I'm going to show you. It's nothing too extreme. Don't get too excited, OK? Really don't. OK. So we're going to write a program, and it's just going to say hello world. It's kind of just like hello, like everything's working. Okay, so this font is kind of small. Let me see if I can make this bigger really quick. Or not. No, it's not responding. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So Python is case sensitive. Everything is very specific. It has to follow a very specific Python syntax. So when I say type print, you should try to match mine exactly. No capital letters, no spaces. Don't spell it like some funky Spanish version or something. Print, and then open parenthesis, double quote, and then hello world. You can put actually whatever you want here. You can put your name or something kind of fun. Doesn't matter. And then end double quote, end parenthesis. So double check to make sure yours matches mine exactly. Okay, your print should show up in green. Maybe on Windows it actually might be something a little different. Open print, close print. If you click on them, they should highlight like mine are highlighted. And then your double quotes and whatever you put in between there should show up in red. Okay. Now, when you're feeling confident, press enter. And as soon as you press enter, since this is interactive Python, this is going to execute this line of Python code. And whatever you had in these in these double quotes here should show up right beneath it. If there's something wrong, like let's say I forgot this double quote, then you're going to get an error. And that's a bug. Probably heard of a bug before. Don't worry, this happens all the time. All the time. We mess up writing code all the time. Usually it gives you a hint about what's wrong, and then you're like, oh, okay, and you fix it. So does anyone have any errors? It's okay if you do. Okay.
I don't think I fully installed Anaconda, so I just have the Anaconda prompt thing up. So now I'm working on actually installing
Okay.
it.
Did you have Python installed on here before? Do you know?
No.
Okay. Because you could also just run it from your command prompt too. Just type Python. Okay. Okay. You guys are doing great. So you're all programmers now, right? This is your first line of Python code. What I want to do is just go through a little example in interactive Python, and then we're going to switch over to running it in script mode. So let's go ahead. I'm going to head over to my browser and find out what the weather is in Python. Or excuse me, weather is in Pullman. Okay, it's 77 degrees in Pullman. So we're going to make a variable to store the temperature. So you guys know variables from algebra, right? From your stats classes, right? So let's go ahead and have a variable called temperature. And we're going to assign it 77. Pretty simple. Press enter. And you can spell it differently if you want. Just temp maybe. So the temperature is 77. So now if we were to print out temperature, Python's going to tell us that, hey, you've got a variable and it stores 77. Variable is just a way we can store data in our programs. Any questions so far? All right. So now we're going to ramp up a little bit. And let's say we want to display a message if the temperature is above 75. Let's say 75 degrees is warm. So Python is a lot like English, but it has to be very specific Python syntax. So I could say something like, if temperature is greater than 75. Okay, so that sounds like English, right? If temperature is greater than 75. But I can't write it in like English syntax. I have to write it in Python syntax. So we have if temperature, and then we have the greater than operator 75, and then put a colon at the end, and press enter. And this is not going to execute your code just yet. Instead, this is going to give you these 3 dots and a colon, and your code's going to be indented. Okay? Whatever is indented after this line of code is what will happen if temperature is greater than 75. So let's just say something like, it is warm out. Something simple like that. Whatever you want. You put whatever you want between these double quotes, but make sure that your print, your open print, and your double quotes match mine exactly. And then press enter. And it's still not going to execute, right? It's saying, do you want to put some more code to execute when this if statement is true? We don't, so now press enter again. And if your value in temperature, which mine is 77, is greater than 75, 77 is greater than 75, that's true, then whatever you have indented here will execute, and that's why mine says it is warm out. Now, if you want to execute this code again, just hit your up arrow on your keyboard. Actually, go ahead and hit it a few times. Just go up, down, and you can flip through your most recent code that you've executed. So you don't have to type that again, okay? So maybe I'm going to go ahead and let's say assign temperature to be a lower value. Maybe it's 60 degrees out. And I'm going to flip through using my up arrow keys to get to my temperature if statement. And then I'm going to run it again. And this time, I don't have any output because temperature is 60. Is 60 greater than 75? That's false. So this indented code here does not execute.